Hey there, Capricorn. This is Seven Scorpion Tarot, and I want to welcome you to tonight's reading. So, tonight there are a couple of things going on in our sign, my moon sign. uh, Mercury just moved into Capricorn, and of course, the sun is in Capricorn. It is Capricorn season right now. Uh, so, Mercury just came out of Sagittarius and then into our sign. So, maybe a message of practicality, something coming forward, mm, in regards to time, because it's Capricorn season right now. Mercury is the messenger. Kronos is the ruler of Capricorn. So maybe let's start shuffling for the self. We'll do a self, shadow, and ego. I'm just trying to just pick up on maybe what might want to come through, but that the idea of timing. So maybe an immediate message, something that's pertinent during or before we turn to Aquarius season, which not all that far off. Pretty soon here. I hope you guys are having a good start to the new year, to the year of 9. Let's see. A card for the self. I was going to say shelf. Card for the shelf. Something. Hmm. Something that's been sitting on the shelf for a while. My incense smells like it's burning. It doesn't smell like incense. Now it does. Now it smells like incense. Well, I don't smell toast, so I think I'm okay. I don't taste pennies. Uh, so something pressing. Burning desire that's been just on the shelf. Self. Can't get those words right. Has the self been on the shelf? Definitely not elf on the shelf season anymore. That is too many, so I'm just going to go with the bottom one. I'm curious. So, 5, 6, 7. 7 of Wands, so that's the one I'm holding on to. So, holding your position on the shelf. Knight of Cups, the Moon, Justice, and the Knight of Coins. And both of these just came out in Sagittarius's reading. It felt like too many S's. Interesting. An offer blocked by something unknown that has something to do with the recent past. This feels funky. I want another clarifier under that. So 7 of Wands. in the Rider-Waite, the Hanged Man, he is like standing above the Six of Wands that are coming up from the foreground and like fighting down. So like holding position, holding the line. What do we need to hold the line against? And like you can, I don't know if the camera's gonna quite pick that up, uh, but you can see like the distinction with the rod that's different in the middle as compared to the other six. I wish I knew what these flowers were. What are we holding our position on in the self? The self on the shelf. I'm going to take two. Six of Cups, Six of Elixirs, and Temperance. It's made an appearance in the last reading too on the bottom of the deck. So holding our position against the past, but in like a balanced and kind way. So this is framing boundaries to me. Seven of Wands and the past cup, past card. Oh, and what cards popped out when it was too many? Knight of Cups, Moon, and the other two that were in the last reading. Well, holding the line against the previous cup. About a cup that you refused, or maybe you offered a cup that was refused. Maybe the past is coming back around and like just wanting to, like how when you're happy or when things are just moving along, you know, you're getting on with your life, it's like the past can smell it. That the past does not want you to move forward. And maybe whatever cup they're trying to grab onto, or however, potentially, excuse me, re-entering your life, maybe they earnestly want a place in your life, believe they've changed, or saying they've changed, or they're gonna change. uh and it still very well may be the move to just hold the line kindly, because like even if they don't have a place in your life anymore. I understand the temptation to, just give it to somebody when they deserve it. And, you know, use your discernment if it's safe for you to do so, and that is what's required to hold the boundary, give it to them. Like, if the no's not getting through and you gotta, like, be stern and really, like, look, dude, it, X, Y, and Z were very hurtful. This is why you no longer have a place in my life. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Like, do what you gotta do. It may also be better for your mental health to just maybe not even respond, maybe block and move on, uh, or just a simple no thank you, and then stop responding. Like, one of the most difficult things for me, I'm gonna start shuffling for the shadow. But one of the most difficult things for me with boundaries was, is, will continue to be the not needing people to accept them. That, like, the line is what it is. You have been presented with what the line is. There are consequences if you cross it. Have a nice day. Uh, that's really difficult. Like, I ran into the same issue and am running into the same issue when it comes to self worth. Uh, like, okay, I did the work to repair, rebuild, restructure my self worth. The world, my world, whatever view you want to look at that from, has not caught up to me realizing my full self worth. Uh, and even not necessarily my full self worth, but the stage in which I am, that just, okay, I'm worthy of respect and of good things and of being treated well. Your turn. Like, it's your turn now. Like, you have to actually do those things. Uh, and it gets a little complicated, you know, when it's not an Instagram nugget. I don't know. But we've got the Eight of Blades, Eight of Swords. In the shadow. Oh, that actually fits what I was just blabbering about. That, like, I had this perception of, like, and this expectation that when I realized my self worth, everybody around me would as well. Not so much. Uh, there's still the, like, oh, by the way, you've also been, like, treating me like crap this whole time. Like, I can appreciate that, like, I had some things to work through on my side, and you were still choosing to treat me this way in the first place. Like, me having things to work through and having things in my background that led to a shaky sense of self worth does not excuse those behaviors. And depending on the scenario, if it's something you're dependent on, not reliant on, dependent on, I found where that gets really tricky to navigate, that like when you're in that rock and a hard place of, no, you have to treat me better. Like I'm dependent on this situation. You need to start doing it. Like you can't just say the words, you actually have to conduct the actions. Uh that can put you in some pretty gnarly energy when you're in that conflict of, okay, I see it, you say you see it, but I'm not getting the results. Like there's a lot of moving parts with that. You might be dealing with some of that too, of I'm holding my boundaries from the past, and it could be from your past self, of like regressing into bad habits and being kind with yourself in regards to that, and having patience as you learn those skills of exercising that self-worth, not just obtaining it and possessing it, but exercising it, and really taking that blindfold off when people don't treat you that way. Words are not enough. They have to have actions to coincide that match the words. I'm going to start shuffling for the ego. That's like the next stage of the self-worth, of like, I hear you saying the words I'm sorry multiple times. Where's the changed behavior? That's the other part of that equation. We'll see in the ego maybe how this is expressing to the outside world. Because it could definitely be anger. Could see a lot of that. Going with that. King of coins. Interesting. In the ego. So the master of material. Hmm. Is the past coming to haunt you because things are going well? Kind of like what I was saying about, like the past can smell it. Like the ego could be expressing itself as balanced, as, I don't necessarily want to use the phrase in control, but like cool, calm, collected, like a little bit detached. So hold your position from the past, from that past self, from that past situation, whatever it may be. And your ego may be able to see and defend against the things in the shadow that put the blindfold on. The things that are blocking the vision, that like maybe the past is trying to pull the wool over your eyes, because that, like the Eight of Swords, she's got that blindfold on. This looks like mint. I don't think that's mint leaves, but that's what it looks like. So something, ooh, and like something with smell, like with how my incense was smelling like burning. But this would be pleasant. So something unpleasant is being covered by something pleasant. So your boundaries might need to be held because something is being kept from you. Very likely, and like potentially by your shadow. Uh, and that's sort of the conundrum of the shadow, that it's part of your psyche, but you got to do a lot of work to really access what is in there and access it in, a healthy way. But the thing it's making me think about is like the fawn response in like complex PTSD. Like when you go through like complicated relational trauma, one of the potential outcomes is the fawn response, particularly in inescapable situations, like situations that you're dependent on. And you figure out how to navigate the people you're dependent on and how to navigate their emotions and whatnot, because they can't, won't, etc. And that fawn response develops because it's like keeping the oppressor happy, of like, if they don't get mad, then I'll be okay, which is so heartbreaking. Uh, so you very well may be presenting from the ego in, I want to watch my language here. Maybe your past is taking that as like inviting challenge. And this could all very well be internal. The the internal struggles of the mind never cease to fascinate me. Uh, but this just could be something coming up from the depths, out of the shadow, going, like, did you really learn? Did you really get those messages through, like through and through? I don't know. We'll get an oracle of the soul, of souls rather, if I can grab it. Goodness gracious. But maybe someone to meditate on a myth that might lend some wisdom in your particular situation. Because that's heavy energy to have those conflicts of mind and material, and have the past kind of swim in between those things. Interesting. Abraham. Okay. Justice of Pandemonium. Oh, and it's scales. Cool. Justice, truth, and duty. I'm definitely getting Hades vibes from this. Uh, I wonder. I want to see what the book says. Oh, very first card. Is it? Is that right? Yeah, that is the first card. In the Republic of Pandemonium. Known for his wisdom and his dedication to justice and truth in both life and death, the once mortal Abraham is the judge of Pandemonium. He can see through any falsity or subterfuge and determine the worthiness or unworthiness of those who come before his court. Although he arrived in the afterlife ragged, broken, and stripped of himself, that which was most real in himself persevered. His moral integrity, his dedication to justice and duty, his personal honor. I said that weird. Weird rhythm. Abraham shows us the truth of our temporal selves, what in us is worth keeping, balanced against what is unworthy of our future selves, and best abandoned in the wastes. So, if this resonates on a more literal level with you, and there's like someone actually coming from the past, coming forward from the past, this seems like the message here is to be the judge of determine if they have a place in your space. My interpretation of how the cards have played out is that they don't. It is your life. You have free will. Do what's right for you. Uh, but looking at things from that like colder, judging, logical, like rational mind of, like it mentioned arriving in the afterlife ragged and broken and whatnot and being his realized self. You in this life, in this stage of life, leaving that ragged self behind is whatever's coming forward, whether it's bad patterns, a person, fawn response, whatever. Do they have a place in your kingdom going forward? And consider, too, that judges take time to consider those decisions. So you don't need to make it right that second. And if someone is making you feel pressured to make a decision, I feel like that is a pretty good indicator of maybe that door needs to stay closed. Overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.